What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Nothing But Skills, and in today's video we are going to be showcasing my best build to farm in the dark zone. I always run a PvP build, and then I have this PvE build because it lets me clear out landmarks really fast. In this video you're going to notice how fast I'm clearing out these landmarks. I think we did challenging in about 2 minutes or less, and that's what I'm going to be talking about here. The audio is a little bit low during the gameplay, but once we get to the build breakdown I was able to adjust it to raise it up for you guys. Enjoy. Look how fast it is. Challenge, right? So just keep that in mind. Let's go to the other side. It's over here. Goes out again real quick. Constant secret mines. It's just easy to run. Constantly get your secret mines back. So now it looks like everybody's dead. We're just waiting for them to spawn in. So we finished one wave. Remember, there's a couple waves when we do this. We just need these guys to come over here.
This is my town, agent. Bad situation because oh, now we're getting harder because we just infused our gloves, and hopefully they come out on this side over here. Yeah, they are. Great. They're gonna come over here. So the jumpers right there. Look how fast it's moving.
Contaminated gear.
We already got a secret bag. Looks like we got the boss over there. We got our secret bag, so I'm going to drop them one last time. It's off right now. Landmark clear. What did that take us? About 2 minutes. We just cleared a challenging landmark with this build, and that's why I tell you guys, these skill builds, these builds do work if you're trying to get them here. I always recommend if you're going to farm in the DZ solo, that you have a build that can run these landmarks pretty quick, because then you don't have to worry about players shooting you back. You can get the loot, and then you can, hopefully there's the boxes, you can get the boxes and be done with it, right? Because what you want to be able to do is get through these landmarks pretty quick, because the longer that they're red, like this one's red, see, people can see that, but if I can knock them out really quick with a fast build, so a skill build like this will help you out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break down the build for you real quick. So we are running 237,000 armor, 101,000 health. We have 3,000 skill power pretty much on our turret and our secret mines. For the weapon, our main primary weapon, we're using the Police M4. This is going to have Sadist on there. It has deal 30% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. After 3 kills, applies the bleed to the next enemy you hit. Now, if you want to run the Pyromaniac, you can. It's really up to you. Both of them work good, just depending on what you have a better rolled on and what kind of status effects you want to run. So if you don't have the Pyromaniac, you can run this Police M4. I usually run one or the other. It doesn't really matter. Now, you can, I don't recommend keeping stable on there because it's pretty easy to control the Police M4, so probably put something like Allegro. I do like running this one versus the Pyromaniac because I have Rooted on here, while equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25%. So when I go into cover, I'll be able to get that.
Incoming dark
now,
zone
Pyromaniac does have one. Doesn't really have a talent there, so I am taking a full advantage of Rooted,
DZ drop,
you know, so my Seekers and that turret are going to hit harder. The way you want to have this modded is we are running the C79 scope. If you have the 8% damage to elite one for the extra 3%, you can do that. I kind of like the C79 scope because I can zoom in on it. We run the 10% stability on the angle grip. I do have a stability mod here, but we can move this off, and then you're going to just put the damage to elites right there. So really what you want to run, if you want the extra 5% damage to elites, which I recommend, and then run a 20 round mag. For my secondary, I have the Eagle Bearer. You can run the Merciless, You can run the Nemesis, really pretty much any exotic that you want to run. I personally like running the Eagle Bear just because it gives me that protective fire, and if I need to swap to it. But the Merciless works really good too, in case you get any of those mechanical dogs. And then the Nemesis, of course, always it works really good because you'll take advantage of that extra 15% headshot damage with the Police M4. So really up to you on what you want to run. Now, since this build is all about the skills, right? That's how this build is going to be set up. So we are running a 4-piece hardwire set. We get the 20% skill power. We get tamper proof. So when we put down that turret, you saw the electricity going off. That's going to be with tamper proof. And then requires 4 is the feedback loop. So killing with the skill resets the kill cooldown of your other skill. So if my turret gets a skill code, if my turret gets a kill, then my seekers get a kill. If my seekers get a, get reset. If my seekers get a kill, my turret gets reset. So that's why this always works, and it's really good. There is a small cooldown on it, but most of the time you'll be able to get it if you build this build the way I have mine set up. So I do have skill haste on here because I don't need the skill power. I'm gonna have plenty skill power. I run skill haste everywhere I can put skill haste. We have 54% damage to elites, and then we have a utility mod with reload speed and explosive damage, and the explosive damage is going to be for those seekers. For the chest, this is going to be the second piece of hard wire. We have skill power 584, we have headshot damage, and then we have armor here, and then we want hard hitting on the chest for that 25% damage to elites, which stacks on your skills. And then if you get something on the chest, you really don't need that headshot damage, so ideally maybe weapon damage would be better there. Something like that would probably be a better roll than that headshot damage. I don't really need that. The armor I don't mind having because it makes me a little bit more tanky. So if I could have percentage armor there too, it wouldn't be too bad. For the holster, we are running the third piece, which is going to give us skill power, and then 41k health. And then we do have utility system mod right here. And then we have another utility protocol mod. So one's going to give us 4% explosive damage, and the other one's going to give us 2.5 explosive damage. I really just needed this for the explosive damage. That's why I'm not putting anything into extra seeker mine power or extra turret skill power. We just needed the extra explosive damage. For the fourth piece of hardwire, it goes to the knee pads. And then we have skill haste on here. We have another utility mod with 4.5 explosive damage. And then we do have a defensive system mending mod on here with 3,700 armor and then 3.5% total armor. Now the gloves are what make this build that much more powerful, because remember the gloves are going to skills that apply status effects gain 25% status effect duration and 50% skill haste. Now when I use an infusion on these gloves, so say if I put a status effect like Sadist or Pyromaniac, when I do put that status effect on them without using my skills, I'll get the energy infusion. So while infused, you gain 5% skill damage, 5% skill healing and repair, and 5% skill duration. So I'm getting the skill damage and the skill duration because I'm not using any healing skills, and that's, we have 14 right here. So we have 14 times 5%. So that's pretty impressive. Now remember, your gloves become infused for 30 seconds, and then whenever you throw a skill for 1.5 seconds after landing, it creates a small explosion and the infused status effect to all enemies. So like say if you throw your seekers out and they land right them and they're infused, well, they'll cause all them. But the one thing you do have to remember is that infused effect will not cause you to extend the 30 seconds. You can't re-infuse them with that. So enemies affected by the infused status effects take 50% more damage. So if you do hit somebody with the infused status effect, they'll get 50% more damage on top of the damage you're already getting for having 14 yellows. Now we do have a yellow here. We have 2 yellows, utility mod slots. So we're going to have skill power, explosive damage, and then we do have 1 utility skill mod with seeker skill power, just to make sure that we can get that max seeker skill. We also have 1 defensive system mending on here with 4,000 armor and 4% total armor. So remember, 4-piece hardwire, 1 piece the BTSU gloves, and then for the backpack, the Alp Summit backpacks gives us 20% skill haste. We have 510 skill power. We have 33,000 health, and then we're running skilled. Some of you guys might run tech support. I like running skilled. The reason why I'm going to tell you is because, say for instance, you have that cooldown period in hardwire and none of your skills reset. But if you do get a kill, for instance, you have a 25% chance of to reset that skill. Some people like tech support. I personally like skilled. That's just personal preference. We have 40% explosive damage on there for that destructive, and then we keep going down. You look right here, we have utility mod slot with explosive damage and another one explosive. So an additional 3.5% explosive damage on both of these. But this is how I run my build, 3, 6, 14. Exactly how you kind of want to go with the build, just because this will give you the most bang for your buck. Now, if we go into my turret is going to have a 22-second cooldown. But you remember, as long as I'm getting kills with my Seekers and there's no cooldown in my hardwire set, I constantly get this back. We have 119% damage here. I wish I had one that was a little bit stronger. This is where I can improve the build a little bit. We have one that has 147% damage on this side, almost maxed out. And then on the other one, we have 91% skill haste. I could probably put the duration, but I'd rather have the skill haste just to get those skills just back a little bit quicker in case it doesn't reset. So damage, skill haste, and that's going to put this one at 27,000 damage. That's not including the buff that I'll get for the PTFU gloves if these are infused. We get into the Seeker Mines, and these are we're going to be running damage, 88% damage on one, 92% damage on the other, almost maxed out, not quite, but almost. And then we are running 5 extra clusters. So this is going to give me 582,000 damage. Now, if I want to go stronger than this, I can. I do have another damage mod on here. The highest one I have will push me up to almost 700,000. But I do feel like the extra clusters can spread out and they can one-tap most of the NPCs, and that'll let you clear out those landmarks a lot faster. So we have, remember, the turret, we have regular turret, we have the Seeker Mines cluster. Now, if you want to run something like the flame turret, you can. But the way I set this build up is it hits hard enough without infusing it initially. And as long as I can infuse it with one of the talents on my weapon, like Sadist or Perfectly Ignited, there's a couple more you can put on there, but that's really up to you. Definitely, if you want to use the turret, you can. The flame turret, but you don't need to. But yeah, this is how I run my build. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I do appreciate all the support. So we're gonna wrap up this video here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, turn the notification bell on if you guys want to get notified when I release a video. I appreciate all the support. Until the next one, nothing but skills out.